needs a trophy more? Eddie Howe at Newcastle, Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham, or Mikel Arteta at Arsenal?
Well, Ange has come out and said he always wins a trophy in his second season at whatever club he's been at. So if he don't win a trophy and Spurs don't have the greatest season, Levy would be putting another shrimp on the barbie. England have won a World Cup since the last time Newcastle won a trophy. And let's be real, they're not going to win the Premier League this season. They're not in Europe this season. So the only hope of them lifting a trophy is the FA Cup and the League Cup. And Mikel Arteta is so desperate to win a trophy, he's making the Charity Shield sound like the Champions League. He came out and said he's won 2 Charity Shields. That's how desperate you are to win a trophy, mate.
Well, the Charity Shield as well twice, no? So it's 3, yeah.
Is that something that he should trumpet as having won?
Come on, pack it in. Pack it in. That's not legitimate.
Pack it in's an understatement. If he don't win a trophy, Mr. Arteta, you should be packing your bags, mate.
I mean, if you want to make that argument because you're just splitting hairs with a journalist that's putting you in a difficult position, then by all means make it. But most serious observers wouldn't turn around and say on their roll call of honours, I won the Charity Shield.
I mean, most fans from other clubs throw that Charity Shield malarkey in our face to cuss us. Then our manager's come out now and said he's won 2 Charity Shields. Thanks for making us look like idiots, Arteta.
The Charity Shields are friendly. It's always been a friendly. I don't know why he said that. That's a little bit defensive.
I mean, Mikel Arteta's really showing his insecurities at the moment. I thought Spurs were bad when they were going on about the LD Cup. Now we got our manager seriously desperate to win a trophy to the point he's making out that the Charity Shield is like the best thing since sliced bread, mate.
For each of the 3, though, it's fair to say about time. Postecoglou at Tottenham, Howe at Newcastle, Arteta at Arsenal.
Well, it ain't about time for Mikel Arteta, because according to him, he's won 3 bits of silverware in 5 years.
And when you go through them, Danny, Tottenham's last trophy was this competition in 2008.
2008? Stone me, I still had hair back then.
Newcastle haven't won a major domestic competition since 1955.
My dad weren't even in his dad's nutsack when Newcastle last won a bloody trophy.
And then this Friday, Arteta celebrates 5 years with Arsenal. With 1 FA Cup, Mikel, sorry, but 1 FA Cup to your name.
Well, let's not forget them 2 Charity Shields either, Jim.
I think...
Who needs it more? The Carabao Cup.
Ange needs it the most. The Arsenal supporters are behind Arteta, a huge majority.
Danny Murphy coming out with the fake news saying the majority of Arsenal fans back Arteta. I mean, that is just definitely not the case at the moment, especially after the last few games. If you've seen all the social media, there's a slight turn. I wouldn't say the majority, I'll say it's 50-50. It can go either way. And if he doesn't win a trophy at the end of the season, he'll be packing his bags, because that majority Danny Murphy claims are backing him will all turn against him. This is his last season to do something at Arsenal. It's 5 years in the making this. He needs to be walking away with something more than the League Cup.
It's going to benefit any of them, of course it would. But yeah, in answer to the question, yeah, Ange needs it the most.
I mean, to be honest, I think if Ange or Arteta don't win nothing at the end of the season, I think they're both in the same boat. I don't think either or need it more than the other. I think both of them desperately need a trophy at the end of the season, whilst they'll both be packing their bags. They'll both be leaving their clubs, and that's the realness of it.
But you're going to be sitting beside your chum tomorrow night, Daniel Levy, whose Tottenham haven't won anything since 2008.
Well, there you are. They've won the award for building the best stadium.
And there's me thinking Mikel Arteta was bollock chop of the day. You know, talking all that nonsense about the Charity Shield. Now you've got Simon Jordan's love affair with Daniel Levy. You know, it's EastEnder-esque almost. It's the stuff of what soap operas are made of, their love affair. Award for the best stadium, and there's me thinking, how's he cussing Arteta in the Charity Shield when this man's giving out awards for stadiums?
And Tottenham have won brilliant things in terms of what they've built commercially, but they have an empty trophy cupboard. Postecoglou's written a cheque, he needs to cash it, he wins something in the second season, he's doubled down on it. Daniel Levy walks around with a constant target on his back because he can't deliver trophies, but he can deliver bank balances.
Simon Jordan, you're the best TalkSport pundit. You know, you tell it how it is. Except when it comes to bloody Daniel Levy. I mean, even the Spurs fans don't like Daniel Levy, and the Spurs fans know what's going on at their own club. You're blinded by love. They say love is blind, but this is taking the piss, mate.
It would be a big deal for Tottenham, huge deal,
It
as
should.
it would for Newcastle.
But there would still be dissenting voices that saying this is the lesser of all the competitions.
Newcastle fans would be ecstatic if they won the League Cup, considering the last time they won a trophy was my dad was still in his dad's nutsack, and the only trophy they can actually win this season realistically is the League Cup and FA Cup. They'll be ecstatic with the League Cup. So yeah, if they win it, fair play. They've got a great fan base. Spurs, Arsenal, the League Cup's not beneath us, but if Arsenal win the League Cup and finish outside the top four, that's not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. And Spurs, if they win the League Cup and finish outside the top four, I reckon Ange's job is safer than Arteta's, to be honest.
It intrigues me that neither of you have gone for Arteta, because he's 5 years into the job and he's won an FA Cup. Surely, he has to win something now with Arsenal. But at the same time, you're telling me if Arsenal fans finish the season with a trophy, they'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is Arsenal are going to win the league this year.
They'll be more disappointed if they finish without.
At the end of the day, a League Cup is not beneath Arsenal or anything, but you have to put it in perspective. A League Cup on its own at the end of the season won't be enough to save Arteta's job, especially if we're not fighting for the title come the last day of the season or within a shot of it. So yeah, a League Cup on its own, no, not good enough. But that's not to take away, it is still a cup and it's still a day out in Wembley and it's still a priceless moment. So all jokes aside, a League Cup's still a good win, but you've got to put it into perspective.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
But
Well, Simon, Danny, I'm glad we can agree on that. Thank you.
But it's all relative to who you think needs it more for what reason.
If Newcastle don't win a trophy at the end of the season, it's not the end of the world. They're only in the League Cup and the FA Cup. They're not in European football. They ain't going to win the Premier League. I think it's a good fit with Eddie Howe, a young English manager. He's loved by the Geordies. Thing is, the Newcastle ain't a small club. It's a big club, but it just doesn't have the same sort of pressure as like the clubs like Arsenal, United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, where or Spurs, where you're one game away from getting the sack. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good club for Eddie Howe, a good young English manager to learn his trade at a massive club without the pressures. On the other hand, you got Ange, you got Arteta. He's in European football, he's in domestic football, he's got a shot at winning the Premier League. So come the end of the season, if he don't win a trophy, the fans will turn on him, the Cronkies will show him the door, and the Arteta-Arsenal love affair will be over. Ange, on the other hand, that's a 50-50. I don't know how that one will go. He's only had 2 seasons there. Should we give him another season? Maybe so. See how he does. But I think the one person that needs to win a trophy the most is Mikel Arteta. He is getting desperate because he's writing home about the Charity Shield. He's putting that on his CV for his next job. I've won the Charity Shield twice.
Wouldn't you? But who needs it more? Who needs a trophy more?
Who needs a trophy more? Is it Eddie Howe at Newcastle? Is it Ange Postecoglou at Spurs? Or is it Mikel Arteta for Arsenal? In my opinion, I say Mikel Arteta, but I'd love to hear your views on it too. Smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.